never be at the mercy of somebody else. He should never be stumbling over the words because he doesn't need to use the words. The only words he needs to use is, "Excuse me, can I just do this myself?"
When you're starting a film, what is your process like? If you don't know a director,
Every project is sort of the same. It doesn't matter if I know the director or don't know the director. I try to avoid reading the script, not because I am against great screenplays, but because I want to know what's in the director's head. So what I usually do is they either come here or we go out for dinner, and there's usually a good bottle of wine involved. And I say, "So tell me the story." Because then I know what is important to him in the story. He'll leave out all that stuff that is, secondary, that isn't important. And I get a sense of the tone somehow, and tone can mean two things in this case. I mean, it can mean the tone, even the light, and how he's going to light the thing, and what the colors palette is going to be like. And that has to sort of match up with what I'm writing and the sounds I'm using and the orchestration, etc. So all that happens sort of in the first conversation. And then I go away and usually sit down and just write, which pretentiously I call a suite. But it's just actually a diary. So I start off with trying to find a theme, and so on the first day, right? Or find a sound, or it might not actually be that yet. For instance, on Dune, the whole process was, let's make new sounds. Let's make this thing is set in the future. It's science fiction. Let's just go and then my late friend Chas Smith, who was a welder but made these beautiful instruments, and his whole house was actually a resonating chamber. So you had to go to his place to play these instruments because, the house was the resonating chamber.
right?
So it was inventing instruments, go on big sampling expeditions, program a lot of sounds, etc. And then I sit down and then I just start writing. And I every day I write a little bit. And I don't go back, I don't correct. And so I just go through it until inevitably the music editor or the director or somebody says, "You know something? I think it's time to write the picture. I think it's time." A prime example is like Inception, for instance, where I was writing without having a picture because Chris was shooting. And then he finished shooting and I said, "Okay, let's have it. Let's have the picture." And he said, "Well, you know something? It's been going so well with you just writing and giving me these pieces of music. I want you to finish the score, and then I'll show you."
Was he using them as like temp music?
Yes, absolutely. And so I got mean and twisted because I knew the script really well, and I really did know it. So I would send the pieces over now without titles, seeing if he could guess, if he could feel, or if I was specific enough that he would know where this thing would go, right? And my test scene in that film was Marion Cotillard is going to commit suicide, and she goes out on the ledge and her shoe drops. And I had a note which was going to hit that shoe drop, right? But I didn't tell Chris.
Right?
So then when he showed me the film for the first time, everything was in place, including the shoe drop.
Wow.
If you jump, you're not gonna wake up, remember? You're gonna die. Now just step back inside. Come on. Step back inside so we can talk about this.
We've talked enough.
Mom,
come out onto the ledge, or I'll jump
It
right.
was great. You know, in Interstellar, there was a similar thing where he's in Iceland shooting and he's freezing cold, but he's explaining the scene where Matthew McConaughey is watching the videos of his children and he starts crying and all this.
Grandpa attended the ceremony. Oh. I met another girl, Dad. I really think this is the one. Her name's Lois. It's her right there.
And Chris is breaking down the whole scene for me over the phone, but, you know, like what leads up to it as well. And it's a lot of shots, it's a lot of cuts, and I'm going, Chris, I don't think I can do that. I think I really do need the picture for this. And he says, let's just give it a go. We've had such a relationship of feeling the length of shots, the storytelling, you know, let's just give it a shot doing it that way. You write the piece and then, you know, we'll see if it fits. So I wrote it and I sent it to him in Iceland. He didn't phone me. I had to phone him. I had to go, well, you know, is it a disaster? He goes, no. It was I cut 2 frames and it was perfect. But you see, this is what I think the job is. The job is not to listen to the director telling you what the music is he wants. Because if he knows what music he wants, then he can do it himself.
Right.
My job is to sort of listen to him tell me the story and then do the thing that he can't even imagine. So that's the job. And I need sort of collaboration and at the same time complete freedom to do this. And, you know, like you have that with Denis. I mean, to a degree, you know, it's like, and I'm being silly. He's got one shot in this first part of Dune when they arrive on the planet, and you know there's a guy playing the bagpipes, which I actually thought was really great because, you know, if somebody was playing a fanfare trumpet, I would have asked him to cut it out. Bagpipes felt like a sort of instrument that could be forever, you know,
Right.
timeless.
Yeah.
But I didn't like the tune he was playing. So Guthrie Govan, the world's greatest guitarist, who, after all, does have Celtic roots, redid the bagpipe tune on the guitar. And I don't know, months later, we're in New York. Denis and I were doing a question and answer thing in a theater packed with people, and somebody asked me about the bagpipes, and I'm going, oh, actually, it's not bagpipes at all. It's Guthrie playing the guitar. And Denis going, what, my beautiful bagpipes? It's not my bagpipes? And I'm going, no, actually, it's Guthrie playing guitar. And this goes on for a bit, and then we're back to question answer, and then he breaks it again, and he goes, are there any other secrets you need to tell me? You know, how do I write? I mean, I write by trying to find something new, trying to tell a story, you know, surrounding myself with incredibly talented musicians, people who can give great feel and context to the notes I've clumsily have written. I am a very good synth programmer. I can actually say that. So that's a lot of what I do. You know? But sometimes, you know, sometimes I spend days making a sound and then somebody kicks me and goes, right, the notes, you know. And my life has been music from as far as I can remember. I was thrown out of 8 schools because all I wanted to do was play the piano. I wasn't interested in any of the other stuff. And I was lucky, you know. Yes, I had a period of living in rat-infested places and with a, you know, single coil ring. You put the baked beans on top of it, and that was like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Actually, the fun part of that which was really, truly not fun. So I was getting into synthesizers. And so I go, okay, tonight I'm gonna like come up with some really cool sounds, with the one problem that the electric meter, you had to put shillings in.
Oh my gosh.
And and I just remember, I had my whole setup, and I was so excited, and I had my cup of coffee, and I was gonna go, and I'm just about to switch it on when, boom, electricity goes out, and of course I don't have any shillings, so I'm just sitting there all night in the dark. I waited until the dawn came up, and I went for a walk. I mean, so yes, I come from that period as well. And then I was just lucky. I mean, I was found by Aerodel, which was really a George Martin company, and this woman Maggie Rodford, who when she needed a synth programmer. Okay, I can do that. And then George came and sort of took me on board, and then this composer who was working there, Stanley Myers, who'd written The Deer Hunter and had written that great guitar piece.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, amazing. He sort of said, hey, do you want to partner up on some stuff? Yeah, absolutely. And actually the funny thing was, he had bought himself one of those incredibly complicated Italian espresso machines. And he didn't know how to use it. And the deal then became, if I show him how the espresso machine works, which basically meant I make the coffee forever, he wasn't interested in how it actually worked, he would show me how the orchestra worked.
Okay.
So it was
It's a good deal.
it was a really good deal.
Yeah.
And I really learned, I learned, every session was, the greatest learning experiences you can possibly have.
Tell me about how you communicate with directors as far as when they're trying to say, this is the kind of
I
sound
communicate with them the same way I communicate with musicians.
Okay.
I never use musical technology vocabulary.
Okay.
It's always.
For example?
Do you want it a little bit brighter? Do you want it a little bit? Do you want a little bit more bass? Do you want it a little rounder? Do you want it a little bit more emotional? Do you want it a little bit colder? It's because. Actually, if you get into musical language, and you're starting to talk, a lot of it is about dynamics.
Right.
For instance, I know that instruments don't sound good when you play them really loud. When you hit drums really hard, they just go ping.
Right.
Right? When you sit next to Steve Gadd,
He plays so quietly.
he plays so quietly, and
Yeah.
and the sound just blooms.
Yes.
Right? So, it's a simple thing to say to a drummer, just be a little bit more on top, but be a little quieter. I want to hear the sound of your drums. I don't want to hear the ping. And directors, look, I used to do a lot of commercials, and what drove me crazy when the director would say, this is true, can you make it sound more like an avocado? I learned that at the end of the day, what is really important is to use language which is clear, emotionally clear. And the other thing that I do when I have big orchestral sessions, when it's like a gladiator film or something like that, just big, I take all the leaders of the orchestra out for dinner the night before the first session.
Why is that?
Because then I have people in the orchestra that have gone through the parts while we were at dinner. So I have my lieutenants already, So when I say, well, actually it should be this or that and the other, they're already translating. The bass section is already translating to the bass section what it's supposed to be. The violas are already, and somebody already knows what this movie is about and what this music is about and what the whole thing is supposed to be sounding like. Because you have to have your allies in the orchestra, because the normal thing is you just go in and they just read it, because they're fabulous at that. But then you have to go and waste an enormous amount of time to go and explain what the attitude should be. Because attitude, I think, is everything in music. Plus, I like them. I like going out to dinner with my muso friends,
Hans, they have such elaborate sound libraries now, or orchestral, where you can put an orchestra at your fingertips.
Yeah, I started that.
I mean, you literally started that.
I started that.
Give us the history.
But I'll
of
tell you the history. The
how long
history
ago
was,
that was.
God, I don't know how long ago it was, but I think that it was early 80s or something like that. And the orchestras were getting really freaked out by sampling and by synthesizers and stuff like this. So the players in London that are, I love the players in London, and I love the rooms in London, I love the studios in London, because they're proper halls, or, in the case of Air, it's really a church.
Yeah.
And I love the ambience. So I said to them, look, if you let me sample you, I can play the directors what it will sound like with an orchestra, because orchestras were sort of going out of fashion. Mm-hmm. It was a time of Giorgio Moroder, Midnight Express. It's like synthesizers were hip, and here was the synthesizer guy going, I want to bring orchestras back. And the only way I can do that, because they're expensive, is if I play the director what it would sound like with an orchestra, and then he'll get the producer to give us the money so that we can go overseas or wherever we go and
hire an orchestra.
Hire the orchestra.
Yeah.
And of course, the advantage I had with what I was doing was I was sampling the same players sitting in the same seats with the same mics as later on I was going to record. So when I have a tendency to do that. When I was overwriting a little bit in the complicated department, we could have sections where it would be like, don't worry about that. I got that covered with the samples, So there was the safety net and the dinner parties where I would be talking to the players on the night before. I could actually play them what it was, and they could see on their parts, they could hear where in the orchestra they were sitting, so they had context. And then, of course, my friends at Spitfire thought that was all a really good idea, and they sort of made a business out of it. Well, I didn't make a business out of it. My business was writing film scores and persuading directors that it was a good idea to go and hire a real orchestra. And it is a good idea, because it's still, I don't care how good the technology gets. In fact, it's quite an interest, or for me, it's quite an interesting thing. So I program the living daylights out of that stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And the piece of music becomes laser sharp, the emotional expression of one person, me, right? Mm-hmm. And then, when you give it to the orchestra, there is still that focus, but somehow it choruses by the slight different attitudes, emotions of all the other players.
Right.
Then it becomes alive, and it's really this remarkable thing, and it's. For me, what is so important is it's a sign of how advanced and sophisticated we can get as human beings, because we can do something together and express an emotion together, and experience great joy doing it.
This sampling that you've done in creating these all these different libraries, you changed the way that people...
Yes, for better or for worse, because there were some people who never could get into the technology, who were just writing on paper. But I mean, when I first came here to Hollywood, I thought this was going to be the place with the best technology. No, it was terrible.
Right.
It was terrible. It was people scribbling away and then writing short scores and then giving it to their orchestrator. I experienced it on one film that I did with a friend of mine. We were sort of sharing the score, and he was using his orchestrator, and the guy had written harp glisses and fluty bits, and the director was freaking out because it wasn't what he had heard in the demo, etc., and it certainly wasn't right for the film. And I said to the orchestrator, "Did you not look at the film?" He said, No. I just embellish. And there is a difference between writing, music which is going to be performed in a concert hall, and that is its reason for being, as opposed to the stuff I do, which is film music. It's supposed to support something. And no, there are no harpglasses in my outer space.
Right.
You know?
When you're looking at a film that's been cut, the film composer is really the last person that works on a film to a certain degree.
To a
right?
certain degree.
What
Like-
about the pressure of that, Hans? Do you ever even think about it anymore? All these people.
Trust me, if I'm not thinking of it, there are a lot of people who have the habit of reminding me of it. The editor, of course, is my best friend. Inevitably, actually, the editor I'm working with on the Dune movies, and I first worked with in 1988.
Wow.
So we go back, and he went to music school. He went to the Royal Academy, Joe Walker.
Okay.
And I didn't. So sometimes Joe puts music in as a temp, and it's like stuff I've never heard. You know, it's like wild, modern, crazy, fabulous. You know, and he just gives you a music lesson while he's at it, editing the film. You know. And it's great to have that sort of a relationship, you know, whereby he completely understands how difficult it is what I do, and so he cuts in a very musical way. I mean, the editor is always my drummer, you know. There's a chap called Chris Levinson who cut Crimson Tide. And there was a 7.5-minute scene. And music editor Bob Barry and I, we sort of felt that there was an underlying tempo to it, that he must have had a piece of music in there and had cut to this piece of music.
Interesting.
And we figured out what the tempo was.
Okay.
And then I asked him, and he said, no, I just cut it freehand.
Wow.
You know, good editors have a good sense of rhythm.
Let's talk about something, because people that are watching this that might not know when we've used this term temp.
Oh, okay. Temp is
That's something I did find.
You
Learning how to
have to
edit
get ready
stuff.
to show it to an audience to just sort of see
It's
what's
very much
working
like
and what's not working. So
drumming.
usually you have to put temporary music.
Paying
in.
attention to the
And
drums helps a lot with editing.
Sometimes people like the aforementioned Bob Badamy will trip me up by putting in Samuel Barber's Adagio for strings, but done on choir,
Okay.
and I'm now supposed to beat that, right?
Right.
So that was like a bad week. But really, what it is like, you know, there's temporary music in it, and now you have a choice. You can go and say, oh yeah, okay, I like that style. I get this. I can do this and sort of copy it. Or you can go, hey, I have a whole other idea, and I'm going to just go and throw this temp out and do the other thing. Or you end up, which has happened more than once, that the temp is something you wrote a couple of years ago, and you go, oh no,
They want that.
they want that.
What do you do then, Hans?
Yeah, there are certain pieces of mine that keep
Popping up.
Keep popping up. Yeah, and it's like, but you don't understand. This is as good as I got in that style. That's all I can do. So the only thing I can do is you go and buy the piece. Go and buy the piece, because if I move one note, it'll be something else.
Right.
You know, and you won't like it.
Right.
And the problem that everybody in the film business has is that you're constantly being asked to do something new and original and innovative. And then you do it, and then you just see the shock of the new on their faces the first time they hear it. And now I got really good at saying, why don't you live with it for a little bit? You know, Terrence Malick, he's a dear friend, and I did Thin Red Line with him, and he hadn't done a film in 25 years, and his last composer was Ennio Morricone, and you can't get any better than that. So I wrote this piece, and I dragged it over. Actually, I was working in the cutting room. So I wrote this piece, and I played it to Terry, and he's going, oh, Hans, that's not film music. I mean, you know, the tune, nobody will ever be able to remember this. Oh, that's, you know, okay, fine. I love writing music, so if somebody tells me, did shit. I did shit, you know? It just gives me another opportunity to write some more music. So a couple of weeks go by, and now I'm in my room here, and it's 11 o'clock at night, and the phone rings, and it's Terry. And he's going, what is this? And he starts singing something to me. It sounds familiar, yeah. And I'm going, that's the piece you said nobody could remember. And he goes, actually, it's really rather good. I think we should use it. So I learned that people want new, but new is scary. And they can't, unless you wind things down to the lowest common denominator with a lot of familiarity in it, with a lot of familiar moves in it, you have to beg them for some time to get used to it. So it's not quite as new and not quite as shiny. And then suddenly, we're going to be all right.
When you program an orchestra, if you're doing a mock-up of a scene, and then you actually bring in the orchestra, and the director's already heard and used your music in it, your mock-up of it, and then they hear the actual players play, and then they're like, well, that doesn't sound the same. How often does that happen?
It happens. It happens, and you finish the session and you just say, okay, we'll just go with the samples. It's not the whole film. It's always just like a little bit, a little thing, which they got very used to, how 16-bit samples,
right,
with maybe not the best D to A and A to D converters sounded, I mean, they have a sound, so, and sometimes that's the sound, I'm not going to argue with that. I'm not going to argue with, but what I am going to do is make the orchestra play it beautifully, nonetheless, because they earned that right. Simple as that.
How many times have you watched a film while you're working on it by the time that you're finished with it?
Not that much. The whole film.
What's up, Kimo?
Well, with Chris Nolan, Chris would have a really good way of working, where every Friday we would watch the whole film, and it would really nibbling away at the beginning, and so each
What's up, Kimo?
a whole bunch of problems had been solved.
Hope you're doing all right, man.
Focusing on another set of problems.
We're watching Rick Beato interview Hans Zimmer.
Just watch the whole thing.
So far, this is a magnificent,
The film is the whole thing.
Yes.
magnificent interview.
I think we ever watched it more than 9 times. It's like
He's done numerous Kino films, too many to name. But I've never seen an interview with him.
You have to watch it all the way through, though, to kind of get
That's a
feel
great
for-
interview.
for the flow.
Yes, you do. I remember Dunkirk. We had run out of time because I was going on tour. And I got a phone call from Chris on the tour bus about this one scene, and there was a problem with it. And I said, look, what you do is you take this piece of music and you put it onto this cut, and then I could remember the shot sequence, So that sometimes I can't quite remember what's going on in the shots, but I know the shot sequence. I know, how long a shot is. I know what the color is. I know how bright it is. So I made Chris my composer, basically. I sort of dictated to him to take this piece of music, cut this out, put this over here, take this, put that over there. Film came out. Film was fine.
Film was great.
Right.
Talk to me about your live shows that you've been doing for now 10 years. Why did you start to do it?
Because I was bullied into it. I was mercilessly bullied into it by Johnny Marr and Pharrell Williams, who sat me down on the other couch over there, and they sat, really close, so I couldn't get up. And they
Johnny Marr and Pharrell Williams, what the fuck?
You have to have the courage to look the audience in the eye. You have to have the courage to come out behind the screen and do things in real time. And I kept saying, no, 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 I get stage fright, which is absolutely true. They said that's not an excuse. That is just a byproduct, you know. Basically, everyone, if you don't have stage fright, you're not feeling anything. You're not being honest with yourself. And they couldn't win the argument. And so after about an hour, like, they got up, Johnny walked out the door first, and Pharrell sort of stood in the door and said, look, I'm playing the Grammys this year. Do you want to play guitar for me? I thought, only an idiot would say no, you know? And so I did that. And it was Pharrell's show, and he was the most... I mean, he was so kind because he just kept his eye on me during the whole, live thing, just to make sure I was all right. And then I had a friend...
Kind of look like I shrunk.
Called Harvey Goldsmith.
Honey, I shrunk the poem out.
Harvey, David Bowie. Oh yeah, I used to put him up in this...
Sorry guys, I'm now the red guy from Twin Peaks. I've been cast for season 5
Not the main band, but
of Twin Peaks. Now that Lich is dead, doesn't have the rights anymore.
I wanted to bring you to London. And
So
Bruce
here
said,
comes
what do you mean London? We only
20
just got to
seasons
New
of Twin
York.
Peaks.
So, and then Harvey did Live Aid,
Starring me.
which is really how I met him because I had friends doing Live Aid, etc.
Yeah, why do I look so
so
small?
I phoned Harvey. I said, "Do you think if I did a live show, anybody would come?" He goes, "Yeah, I think so." And I said, "So what do you think it should be? It's like Albert Hall, orchestral sort of music." And he goes, "Nah, don't do that. Don't do that. Hammersmith." Which is where I saw Bowie, where I saw Humble Pie, where I saw, everybody. He said, Hammersmith, we'll book it for 2 nights and we'll put 1 night up for sale and see how it goes. And we sold out. And so he could say, by popular demand, he put up the 2nd night. And Johnny and Pharrell came to play and be supportive, which was great. The audience didn't know that was going to happen, so that was like a lot of screaming. And first night went great, so I went, great. That'll be the end of the of the stage fright.
Hans
Next
Zimmer?
night, oh my God!
So maybe.
So then I realized that you just had to go. That is just what happens.
We'll look it up right now.
That's part of it.
That's part of it. So don't fight it. Just go.
Think
with
of it-
that you now have to go and throw up. It's probably.
Think of it as a test.
Somehow that whole thing.
We're testing our Jadar right now.
We
I'm thinking
across Europe, and then we took it across America, and we did it very badly, and we
No.
actually lost a lot of money.
he's just
We
German.
made a lot of money in Europe, and then lost it all in America.
Whatever
And
the German
now we know
phenotype
how to
is, I
deal
think
with
that's
America much better. I mean, so
what we're
now-
kinda
now
seeing
we know
there.
how to do it. And really,
But,
while I was doing it, the film
could be.
business sort of became this other thing where it was mainly about
I mean,
superheroes.
I feel like I'm looking for the Jewishness here, which kind of gives me the idea that
Batman
he's not.
Begins might have started something off.
Well, we'll try the wiki.
I did Spider-Man, I did Wonder Woman, so it's like, oh. And that was enough. Just for me, that was enough.
Yeah.
But there weren't any other movies really coming and being made, And so
Why did the film studios want to make those movies? Because you could do sequels and
because you
then make
could
money.
do sequels and they make money, and you only have to make one costume for the guy, and you just have to build one Gotham City.
Is it at the expense of developing new stars?
I think
new
it's
that-
at the expense of developing new stories.
new stories.
I'm old now, but I remember doing very daring movies, that had full support from the studio. Look, Gladiator is a really stupid idea. It's like men in skirts, bashing each other over the head, and it wasn't going to be cheap. I don't know if you could say to somebody, we're going to do Gladiator, and oh, by the way, CG hasn't been fully developed yet.
Well, he kind of looks like a Gary Shandling Jew, maybe.
Literally, where you're sitting, was the Gladiator cutting room. And I remember us having a meeting with...
Klaus Schwab vibes. Oh yeah, kind of.
Ridley, but the studio.
Kind of like the sagging
We were
of the face. Maybe it's just
And as you said, the composers always last. Actually, the
fat.
Right.
And it was basically
Yeah, who knows what that
it's
is?
going to be a piano score, you know.
Okay.
And so the guy from the studio,
But yeah, being big in
who
the
I
industry,
liked very much, said, "Okay,
like falling
I'll give
into
you guys
film scoring,
another $1 million.
that's
But
not
you
like
guys-
that.
You, right now,
Like, oh, you know, you were the
divide it up.
Ramones, and then you became Hans Zimmer.
You need." And Ridley's going, well, we don't actually
Sure, he had some
have a
connections there.
flyover shot of over the Colosseum. I think we're okay with one. So
It is the industry,
that was like
after all.
40 euros or something,
Right.
you know. And so literally we bartered, you know.
So they do.
Bartered the orchestra. And at one
In the
point
end,
he said,
the industry does need to contract people who are talented.
or $1 million and
There's people who can't do
And he said, because I'm the
at
studio,
least something that's kind of good.
completely
Like,
out.
do lose art. I mean, do lose money for.
Fabulously
Like, they could put anybody out there that's Jewish. Like, oh, this guy wrote everything, created rock and roll. If, like, he wasn't actually good, like, it would just lose people a lot of money. So in the end, the industry does have to look for the artists to then be their managers or get them under their claws legally.
If you don't love it, you're not going to take the risk.
Just like you would have to go to like a competent craftsman to get something done. Even though you could just get like, if you're Jewish, let's say, you could just get my brother, he's a little bit handy with the carpentry, you know, and he'll do it for free. He's gonna help me out. It's not gonna be good.
Because I didn't know anybody.
Could be a huge waste of money.
Engineer, Big Al from London, you know, east end of London. We got very excited when they put up the huge run sheet up on Sunset Plaza. We were tourists and we had our photos taken in front of it because we knew it was going to be our only adventure in Hollywood. But yeah, I did it all on a Fairlight. I mean, it was great, you know, because Barry and I talked about it. It's a road movie. What do road movies do? Oh, well, it's either jangly guitars or it's strings. So let's not do jangly guitars and let's not do strings.
That's right.
You know,
Now that kind of a movie is
impossible to
impossible. They would never make a movie like that.
make. No, I don't think so. I mean, I did a really interesting movie last year with Steve McQueen called Blitz, about a little boy, just Second World War, London, bombs falling, with the most atonal, dissonant score. I actually said to Steve, I'm going to make a score that you don't want to listen to, and we'll never get a soundtrack album. He loved that idea, and he loved what I was doing. And then the producers heard it, who are old friends of mine, and I just got a text. So all it said was, "That takes balls." So I was still able to make a movie like that.
Yeah.
But that's within Europe, within a company. I mean, look, I started with these guys. We did My Beautiful Laundrette together, which, a very unknown Daniel Day-Lewis, but the first interracial gay kiss ever on a screen, It was fabulous when you sat amongst the audience and you just felt the jaws dropping,
Talk more about your live show. You have a movie that I watched.
Are you going to go?
That wasn't the only thing that Charles would do.
I'm not going to talk about the guitar. The guitars are not out of tune. No. I mean, to come from
okay,
to come from.
And after that, I
10
will
years
say,
ago to now, this
like,
is
right off the bat,
incredibly elaborate now.
sometimes it's hard to tell if it's like, is he German?
Because here are a few things.
Is he like gay, European? But there is something kind of fruity about Hans Zimmer. Maybe the Wikipedia will elucidate.
I thought about, when people go and see.
But actually, let's do that right now. But all that aside, it is a good interview. talking about art, communicating art with directors, mood. It's just for me, it's because I'm just into artist interviews. It is neat, and I don't really know Hans Zimmer like as a person in my head. Like, oh, he directed this movie, not directed that. He scored this movie and that movie. I just know him as a film director. And for the most part, thinking film scoring as something that's passe. It's kind of like a pretty close to slop in my eyes, unless the movie is good, unless it works in an artful way, which it seems to be the case in his movies, or at least in his direction. So it is an interesting new angle out of something which I previously thought was slop. You know, like a orchestral film scoring, or just lame modern boom sounds and horns, vibrations. And it of course being like the film, being the movie, no sorry, keep thinking, being the music of the film, or of a film, of cinema, is like the peak of slop. Even though there's a lot of Kino in there. No doubt. But that's just, my dogmas. Which is rooted in a truth that, most of anything is slop. Most of whatever is produced from an institution, and in this case, an art one, is slop. But not all of it. Lion King. Yes, I did the new Dune, Inception, Gladiator, Stellar. Oh yeah, he did The Dark Knight. He did I think he did all the Chris Nolan ones. Yeah, Dark Knight Rises, Batman Begins, and then later Batman vs Superman, The Dark Knight. Oh my god. It's been a long time since I've seen these, actually. We should dip back in. I know everybody would love it. 2 hours 45, 2 hours 20, 4, 5:05, 7:37, 7 hours and 37 minutes. Nice. Dang. Now that would be a marathon. We'll have to ask Anthol to set that up for us if he can. Should be easy to find these movies. Oh wow, I didn't know that's what Hans Zimmer looked like. Always thought he was American because of most of his work being from here. Yeah. You would think so, right? But the Hans Zimmer. We go to the club. I can't even do German accent. I wish I had a German friend so I could imitate. Yeah, Hans. Not too many American Hans. That'd be a tough one to live with nowadays, especially. With the Nazi scare going on. But yeah, that's what do you look like? Yeah.
Usually, unless it's an incredibly flamboyant conductor, it's just a guy with his butt to you, standing there. And it's other bunch of guys and girls in penguin suits reading the paper like, a bad marriage on a Sunday morning. And so I thought the first thing I need to do is I need to get rid of the conductor. Because we have technology these days. We have screens which we can put up, which can have streamers and bar numbers and bar counts. And you don't have to sit there and count the empty bars before you hit the bell or the gong or the other thing. You just, and you have in-ear monitoring. And I'm particularly bad at like drifting off into music, So I actually have one of my engineers recorded saying, hands, 1, 2, 3, 4, wake up, So the technology became very important in being able to free give each member in the band, and especially the orchestra, because we're a band and we're an orchestra,
Right.
and give the orchestra players an autonomous view, an autonomous sideline to the audience. So there could be a connection made. Our orchestra comes from Odessa, and we toured a couple of times with them, and then the last time, actually it wasn't the last time, but one of the times, literally the war started. Mm-hmm. And so we managed to get a certain amount of them out. Some of them, literally by luck, the car broke down, but one other player was driving past them and saw, and picked them up and stuff like this. So, hairy stuff. We get to the end of the tour and we're going, now what? They can't go back.
Right.
So the German government, which you would think is full of paperwork and bureaucracy, instantly went, no. We'll help you guys. We have these holiday villages up in the Alps. We'll give them houses and we'll give them a stipend. Next time you go on the road, you know where to find them. That's been really important to us. And I mean, we brought them to America. We don't leave them behind. Leave no man behind.
Right.
The band is incredibly international and incredibly diverse. 3 girl drummers. Colombian bass player Pedro Eustache, woodwind player from Venezuela. Lebo, who I did Lion King with, from South Africa.
Yeah.
Lisa Gerard from Australia.
Yeah.
It's just stuff carries on. It's like we are the United Nations.
I like it that you like Lisa Gerard, for example, did
That
Gladiator.
Exactly. No, who else should be singing?
Right, exactly.
And Loa Kotler, who is the voice of Dune.
Yeah.
She's from Brooklyn, So, so yeah, we're very international, Brooklyn included.
There's a scene in the movie that I think it's you and Jerry Bruckheimer are talking about Pirates, about the score that there's another composer that had done
Didn't work out.
That didn't work out.
I'll tell you the truth here. I had promised Tom Cruise and Ed Zwick on The Last Samurai that I wasn't going to be moonlighting on anything else. And I get a phone call from my dear friend Gore Verbinski going, will I? Oh, hang on, I need to go back. I was working with Gore on The Ring, and I said, what are you doing next? And he goes, I think I'm going to do this Pirates movie. And I'm going, what, from the ride from the Disneyland? That's a terrible idea. And every time he came in, I'm going, how's the Pirates movie going? He goes, well, I got Johnny Depp. And I'm trying to hide that. I'm going, oh, that's quite interesting. So anyway, off he goes, different composer. And then I get a phone call on a Sunday. I think I'm in a bit of trouble. Can you come in and have a look at the movie? I have a look at the movie, and I'm just eating my words because it's wonderful. It's funny, it's exciting, it's beautiful, it's brilliant. It's really good. But I promised Tom and Ed that I was.
So were you in the middle of of that movie?
I was in the middle of Last Samurai.
Okay.
Yeah, and so another composer here, this guy called Klaus, I said, I'll help, but Klaus can do it, right? You know, and they're going, okay, if you say so, if you vouch for him, Klaus Bardold. And I walk in on a meeting where Klaus is playing them some stuff which is sort of avant-garde, and I just see and he's explaining to them what they should be listening for. You know, never explain your music.
No.
If you have to talk,
you have to explain,
music, you know,
you're losing.
Yeah. And I just see the horror on Goran Jerry's face, you know. And I said, okay, I'm going to go home. I'm going to go home and write something. And it's somewhere on the internet. You can find it. It's shameful, but you can find it. So I wrote 90% of the themes in one night. And it starts off really wobbly, because I don't know what I'm doing yet, right? And then, ooh, here comes the theme, right? And you know, and then here's another one, here's another one. And now I'm on a roll, and I have one idea after the other, but now the fingers are starting to give up because I'm really, really fucking tired.
Right.
So like the drums stop in the middle of a bar, but you know, the little fingers are still sort of out of time going, and there's another tune, and there's another little tune. So that became the music basically for 3 or 4 of those pirate movies, one night.
Wow.
I'm not saying it's art, but you know, it's fun. It had to be fun, and I kept thinking it had to be like, you know, these pirates were rock and rollers, which of course they were, because, you know, I mean, Johnny's whole act is modeled on Keith Richards.
Keith Richards, yeah.
Yeah. You know? So the main thing was not to use electric guitars, because that would have given the game away.
Right.
So what did Jerry say? I can't remember.
Jerry said that you basically rescued him.
Well,
to
I
that.
suppose I did that night.
How often does that happen? That someone has written something and a director friend of yours calls you and say, "Look, we need your help." It happened a number of times.
Yeah. The problem is you're out of time. Like there's a Nancy Myers movie, and she's very particular. And the head of music at Sony, who's a really good friend of mine, phoned me, and you know, she wasn't asking for help or anything. She was just telling me her woes, and she said, "Well, we're finishing this movie in 5 days, and we don't have a tune." I said, "Well, I got some tunes lying around. Let me send some over." I hadn't seen the movie. So then Nancy phones, and she goes, "That's really nice of you, and they're really nice tunes, but they're not this movie. I think you should see the movie."
Okay.
So I went and saw the movie and said, "Okay, I'll write you something new." And I was going to write it for my friend Heitor Pereira, who's a brilliant, beautiful Brazilian guitarist. Mm-hmm. So him and I are like in the room together. I'm writing the tune. I get a phone call from the head of music at Sony going, "We're coming over." I'm going, "I'm not ready." I'm not ready is not something that they hear. So the door bursts open, you know, the 2 ladies come in, and Heitor doesn't know what the tune is, but he sort of knows what the chords are. And I go, "Okay, fine, I'll play it for you." And Nancy sits at the side of the piano, so I can't actually see her. And I'm playing much too fast, of course, because I'm really nervous. And I get through the tune, and I look at her, and she's crying. I'm going, "That's not good. It's a comedy." And she goes, "That's absolutely not what I imagined for my movie." I'm going, "That's double not good." And she goes, "It's really beautiful." I don't know if beautiful is the word we want here. I'm going, "So I can write you another one." And she goes, No, it's perfect. It's just I never thought of it like that for my movie." And we had 5 days to go and do the whole movie, you know. So, but these are exceptions, you know. They make for funny stories afterwards, but you know, there have been quite a few moments where I just thought, I'm not going to see Christmas. It's going to kill me.
Tell me about your setup here, and then you have other rooms here, and
It started out with me needing a studio, and we found this building, and everybody told us we were idiots, because if you want to do Hollywood movies, you should be in Hollywood and not Santa Monica. But the last building on this block is Jackson Brown's studio.
Okay.
I'd been recording at Jackson Brown studio, and I saw a for lease sign on this building. So we got this building. And then I was working on some Jerry Bruckheimer film. He goes, "Oh, this is really nice. Are there any other?" And I'm going, "I'm sure there are, you know." So he moved onto 10th Street, and then James Newton Howard, and then J.J. Abrams has this whole like wild thing, you know. So everybody's moved down here. You know, Jon Favreau lives on this street, you know. So I just wanted to be near to the beach. But one of the other things was I really liked the idea of having other composers kick my ass nearby, you know, and like Harry Gregson Williams used to be here, and he was my assistant at first, and then he became a composer on his own right. And I remember having written a piece which I thought, "Oh, this is pretty sexy," and opened the door, and Harry was outside. I was saying, "Hey, Harry, will you just have a quick listen to something?" You know, showing off, right? And I play the piece, and Harry goes, "Oh, Hans, that's just not worthy of you." But that's good. You know what I mean? It's like you get an honest answer from somebody you respect and who understands how it all works, etc.
Yeah.
So I would have these assistants like Harry or John Powell, and you know, after a few years, they would become independent and start having a career. You know, another pirate story, Ramin Djawadi. We're totally stuck on this one scene. You know, I don't know how to do it. I don't know, you know. And we're having this meeting with Gore and Jerry and everybody in the room. And I thought Ramin was an intern making coffee. I didn't know he played music. And he says, "Well, when you go home, do you mind if I have a go at it?" Of course not, you know. Knock yourself out. So the next day, and Ramin is very polite and very not shy, but just, he's very polite. So next day we run through what we did get done, and which is working great, and you know, it's a good meeting, and Jerry's just about to get up and leave and go, "Oh, hang on, Ramin, did you do anything?" He goes, "Yeah, do you want to hear it?" And it's the most perfect scoring of a scene I probably ever saw.
Wow.
It was like, we all went, this scene was shot to this music, you know? And it uses the right theme and everything. And he will tell you, in fact, he says it quite a bit. I said to him, "That's the last cup of coffee you ever made for me."
when I heard Guthrie had joined your band, I thought to myself, wow, Hans knows who to get. He's to me, the best guitar player out, period. That best improviser.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. It took a while to get him because he thought I was a 14-year-old fanboy. He didn't believe I was me.
Oh, you wrote to him and he was like, I don't believe it's him.
Yeah. I love all these great musicians. I mean, look, my orchestrator forever was Bruce Fowler, or is Bruce Fowler, from the Zappa band. Mm-hmm. So I grew up with, listening to Frank Zappa and listening to that sort of complexity of playing and that sort of perfection in playing. And it is like I used to write these impossible parts and give them to Bruce and go, "What do you think?" And he goes, "Oh, they can play that, they can play that." And then we'd get to the orchestra session and there'd be like a few dead people and a lot of falling over stuff, and but eventually they would play it.
What are some other artists that you're fans of, as far as, you talk about Zappa? Who else is someone that you're a big fan of?
Harmonically, anybody that plays guitar in Brazil, Bolacete, Louis Bonfa, Baden Powell, you name it. I mean, just the harmonic language is just incredible.
Why did that harmonic language develop there like that?
This is the question that we keep asking ourselves. And I asked this question of Heitor Pereira, who is Brazilian and knows all those chords and plays like this. You know, and what I love with him is, you know, I do a 3-chord wonder, you know, C, F, G, you know, and he goes, well, you could play it like this, but you can play it like this. Oh, you can substitute this, and da 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 da. And suddenly, you know, like, whoa.
But why
It's
that
got
language?
sophistication.
You know, Jobim,
Portuguese.
1964, girl from Ipanema, this beautiful.
I think because they speak Portuguese. That's the only reason I can find, because which is sort of a poetic language, you know. But nobody's given me a definitive answer ever. So I'm a huge fan of them. And then on the other hand, how can I not be a Kraftwerk fan or a Yellow Magic Orchestra fan, or, you know, I mean, so that. Then there's a little Italian band called PFM. I always loved them. Obviously, I'm a fan of my little brother, Pharrell Williams. I don't know. I mean, it's the world is full of beautiful musicians
That's a weird connection.
who are getting royally screwed by their record companies. But because once you start playing music, there's no way you're not going to be playing music.
Yeah.
We are our own worst enemies.
Hans, when were they not getting screwed by their record companies? If they're not getting screwed by the record companies, they're getting screwed by Spotify and the record company.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, you know, it's like you used to have a record deal, then you had a certain percentage, but then it would be streaming, and the record company would basically give you a percentage of the streaming royalties, which were nothing already. And so you were basically in minus figures.
Right.
If you wrote a piece of music, you were actually basically declaring bankruptcy. So film is still good. I believe games are good financially. I don't play games. I'm not of that generation.
Yeah.
And the touring thing is really good, and I love it. I mean, I love the films. that
Well,
are
what
done
games
as
has
it
he
was, you know, and I'm doing well.
I always wondered if the music that you write, is it always work for hire?
There's always work for hire.
It's always
well,
work for
it's
hire.
always work for. No, it's not always work for hire. You know, if they really don't have any money, then it's mine. You know, and I've done some big movies where it wasn't a work for hire.
Interesting.
You can do it.
Wow.
You can do it. But that must mean that the director and producer really want you.
How many times though do they
Call
come
of
to you and say,
Duty
"Look, we're our
in
budget
09?
is,
Really?
you know, this is we're out of money."
Which I didn't
And
play a
can
whole
you
lot,
do
but I know
this?
that
You
game
ever
is
hear True Romance?
huge.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Huge.
9 Marimba players.
Skylanders 2011. Spyro's Adventure. FIFA 19. What?
Start off with
Crisis
Tony
2.
saying, Hans, it's going to be great, this movie. And we got a real budget, and we can have a real orchestra, we can do all this stuff.
Looks cool.
And he comes back from the shoot and he goes,
But I've
"Spent all
never
the
played
money."
it.
I'm going, what do you got left? I got nuts and 9 musicians. And I thought, let's book the most of useless musicians. And I knew this. I knew that piece. You know, that piece is written in the 1256. It's an old German, you know, Gassenhauer. It's an old German piece. But it sort of seemed like the right thing to do. You had all this violence, and it, you know, and her saying, "Oh, you're so romantic," and it just the innocence of that piece seemed really right. So actually, not having a big orchestra, and Tony having spent all the money, and I loved Tony, you know, dearly. I mean, it was always an adventure with him, you know, and I think I sort of knew that there wasn't ever going to be big money to begin with. So you adapt, you know, you adapt. I mean, Hater and I have done films, you know, guitar and string pad, you know. Some of those things became the most creative things we did.
What comes first? Is it the sound? Is it a sound, and then you're inspired to write something based on a sound, or you just?
It sort of comes together, and it's the most important thing is I sit on my hands in front of my computer. I don't touch the keyboard until I hear something in my head, because otherwise I'm just going to play the same damn chords over and over again. So, like I said about Johnny on Inception, I had the tune and I had the chords, and they're sort of weird. I don't actually know what the fourth chord is, and I think nobody knows what the fourth chord is. And so he became the sound. But usually I need to know what I want to say musically. I mean, what the notes are, what the tune is. Look, what did I learn from Stanley Myers? I learned from Stanley Myers, if you don't have a tune, you have nothing.
Right.
You know? If you don't have a tune, you got nowhere to go. So sometimes the tune is a bunch of chords with the top note just leading, you know? Sometimes that's a tune. And then every time, I just go, Beethoven's Fifth, da-da-da-da. How did he know? How did he know that, you know, kids are walking past the piano and they just go, da-da-da-da, right? But they don't make like a magic castle of colors and invention out of that. How did he know the possibilities? So I try, you know, so one of the things I try to do is I try to make my tunes be playable with one or two fingers.
Interesting.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
if you listen to Time from Inception, it's two fingers. The whole tune is two fingers. Go wild in the orchestration, go wild with the sounds, etc. But the tune needs to just be honest.
What of your scores do you feel pushed you out of your comfort zone the most? Or do you feel like every score you need to push yourself out of your comfort zone?
It's really a question for Alejandro, because it's like, you know, he being my assistant, he never gets to go home. And he gets to suffer because I'm always out of the comfort zone, and it's killing me. But it's good, you know. It's like because here's the problem. I'm having a conversation with the director right at the beginning, and I come up with an idea, and I tell him what the idea is. So now I have to make good on this. So I was doing this movie called Power of One, which was about South Africa and Zulus, and somebody had given me a book about Zulu music, and the first line in it is, there are no indigenous instruments in the Zulu culture because they're a warrior tribe and you don't really want to carry a piano with you while you go warring, right? So they sing. So I said, I have this idea, I want to go and make it a vocal and percussion only score.
Okay.
And I'll be able to do that here, right? You know, Andre Crouch singers, you know, it's like great singers here. Man, it sounded gospel, and then it sounded more gospel, and it was really gospel, and there was nothing African about it. And I went back to Warner Brothers, and I'd spent all the money, and I went, I'm sorry, I failed. And the producer said, no, you haven't failed. You just made one mistake. You are not in South Africa. So that was on a Thursday. On a Monday, I was in a warehouse in Soweto with one Calric mic hanging from the ceiling, and my friend Lebo standing on a tannoy conducting the most fabulous rabble of a South African choir, you know, and the same notes were not the same notes, you know. Yeah, it's been somewhat adventurous, you know, this life. I mean, it's a good life.
Do you ever binge watch shows? Do you ever find
Sure,
something?
of course I do.
Do you think about the music ever?
No,
Never,
not
right?
at all. Not at all.
Never doesn't even occur to you, right?
No, it's just no. I'm watching the show. You know, sometimes I hear something which I don't like, and I go, That's when I notice it. Or sometimes I hear something which is, you know, which I just think is absolutely stunning, you know, and then I pay attention to that. But most of the time, I watch the show.
Is a film score something that shouldn't be noticed?
No, I think it should be. See, this is the part. This is what I wanted to prove with the shows. Okay, so now you got me. I wanted to go and play the music without showing a single image of the films, which is what we do.
Right.
Because I wanted to prove that it could stand on its own 2 feet.
Yeah.
You know, that it had legitimate value. And then it became sort of an interesting thing to sort of reverse the whole idea and make a movie of us playing film music that without showing a film other than the film of us playing it, you know? If you think about it, it's a pretty illogical or weird thing that you saw, you know? You saw film music without a film, in a film.
Well, you saw, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, come on. I mean, how can you resist listening to a John Williams piece? How can you resist? How can you think of that as anything other than high art? You know, Close Encounters of the, you know, it's, and I don't mean the main thing. I mean everything. It's like brilliant. You know, Ennio Morricone. What a bunch of tunes that, you know, I mean, The Mission, it's just, and the Westerns, and, you know, Jerry Goldsmith, all those masters, you know, and then there's Quincy Jones, you know.
What is your advice for young composers?
Get a real job.
No,
No, that's exactly not the advice I would give them, because everybody gives you that advice. You know, when I walk into a room like a party or something, without sort of where people don't really know me, and you know,
Is there such a place?
there sort of is.
Come on.
No, there sort of is amongst bankers or something like that. You know, but Americans have a habit of very quickly asking you, so what do you do? I go,
And what do you say?
I'm a musician. And they go, no, what do you do for a living? And it takes a while before I can persuade them that I can actually make a living at this thing called music. So, what's my advice to musicians? But you have to be incredibly lucky. I have somewhat a disdain for how much it costs to go to music school. I had one assistant who owed $250,000 in fees, and she had studied 20th century chamber music.
Oh my gosh.
And nobody ever said to her, you know something, girl, you're going to have a hard time making ends meet with 20th century chamber music. So my partner, Steve, who runs the business, and our friend Russell Emanuel, who runs the library company, they were looking at how my assistants, like Harry Gregson Williams, Ramin, John Powell, you know, there's more, how they became successful in the film business. But it took really a long time. You know, they were my assistants for quite a while before. So they started this company next door called Bleeding Fingers.
Okay.
And the idea behind that was, I mean, we had an empty lot, and Chuck, who might be roaming around somewhere, and our architect designed basically tiny little studios, but really well functioning, you know, super soundproof and really good acoustics. And the idea was, if you were a young composer, you could go in there, you could get a job at Bleeding Fingers, and you could get paid from day one, you know, and you would be doing David Attenborough television shows, and you'd be doing like all sorts of really big things. So Bleeding Fingers is, you know, a way for a young composer to go and make a living. I'm not entirely sure how other people do it. You know, I'm not entirely sure how other people, because the business has become more and more conservative. It's more and more concerned about playing it safe, and therefore hiring me because I have a track record, as opposed to some young, amazing talent, you know.
Because there's so much risk involved in making movies now, to convince somebody to have you write the score as opposed to some unknown person, they're going to go with you.
Yes.
Every time.
Plus, you have to think about this the other way as well. Think about the agent. Now, the agents got a new composer on his box, and there's a big film out there, right? So if he phones for the new young composer, who maybe gets, I don't know, $10,000, let's be real, $60,000
Okay.
to do the movie.
Yep.
Or he makes a phone call for me. The agent's going to make a lot more money if he makes that one call, which is a much easier call. So, you know, whichever way you look at it, your chances are pretty bad.
Right.
You know, and that's why I keep telling people, don't get an agent. Do not try to get an agent. Have an agent begging to represent you, you know, and because you've done something. I mean, I did Rain Man. That's when I got an agent, because hang on, this guy's got an Oscar nomination on his first American
Right.
movie. You know, yeah. I think he'll work out. You know, so.
Did Rain Man?
But I had done like
Another film I've
bucket
not
loads
seen.
of movies beforehand. You know, with nobody
Famous
paying
film
any
and
attention
the
to it.
canon
Would
of
you ever
Retard
imagine
Man.
that technology would be where it is now?
Yeah, damn right.
You talked about the Fairlight.
Yes.
Talk about the Fairlight. People hear this like, what?
Standing up, what, the mythical beast?
The mythical beast. How much was a Fairlight when they first came out?
65,000 pounds.
Explain to people what the Fairlight was.
It was the first sampler. It was absolutely the very first sampler. Kim Ryrie and Peter Fogel, and it's called the Fairlight because they wrote the whole software. They were actually trying to build a computer, and they were sitting on the beach in Australia, and the Fairlight is a little boat that goes by from one place to the other in Australia, you know. And so whenever the boat went by, they would stop programming and just, and so when they had to come up with a name, originally it was called the Quasar, so it became the Fairlight. And the distributor in London was my best friend, and so I managed to borrow one, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic. I thought it was amazing, and my recording engineer thought it was absolute shit because it was 8-bit sampling, and there was no top end, and there was more aliasing and distortion than anything. So he was not only my recording engineer, he was my flatmate. So he took it apart and started playing around with it and putting new filters in and all sorts of things, and actually ended up as the head of software at Fairlight, even though he didn't know how to write software, and then he didn't know how to learn write software. So I had a somewhat very close relationship with Fairlight because my phone bill went up astronomically because he was forever making phone calls from London to Sydney, you know. But what was the Fairlight? It was the first sampler, and it had the greatest sequencer in the world in it called Page R, where you could see what was going on. You had a screen and you had a little touch pen, which was really horrible because if you think about it, holding your hand up like this
Right.
with actually quite a heavy pen,
Yeah.
you know, your arm would, go. There were an enormous amount of misdesigned things in it, but God, was it great, you know, the possibilities. And I always think it could only have come out of Australia because it was like this other world, you know. It wasn't, you know. On
Interesting.
the other hand, you had the Synclavier from
Right.
Dartmouth College, which was truly unaffordable.
Yes, way more expensive.
Way
yes.
more expensive. I mean, between $250,000 and $500,000 then, you
Yeah.
know.
Do you ever see yourself retiring?
No, I don't think musicians retire. Right? I think they get too old to play sometimes. You know, it's like your fingers give out. But composing, look at Beethoven. You know, I mean, yes, it's a tragedy that he lost his hearing, but I
Didn't
don't
stop him.
No, because you compose in your head, you know. I mean, until the Fairlight, you couldn't hear the full orchestra before you had the full orchestra there, you know. And some of his finest works are those late
That's
quartets.
right. Late string quartets. Absolutely. It's funny because everyone that I asked that question to says the same thing. Why would you ever retire?
I know. Well, here's the thing. Because it's already built into what we do. We play music, so the playfulness, you know, as a child, you play. So why do you want to stop? You always loved playing, you know. And we
So true.
yeah, sometimes it gets hard, but it's playing music and living a playful life. That's, to me, what it's all about, you know. And that's why when I go up to the microphone for the first time, I am nervous, but I look out and I see people smiling at me, you know. I mean, here I am, German, the Grim Reaper, you know, Mr. No Humor. But no, they're smiling. So something's already happening, you know. And before I say a word, I make Haley, who runs the lights, put a light on the audience so I know who I'm talking to. And what I do say to them is, look, I don't know how to do this stage thing. I don't have any stage presence. I don't do this. So can we just treat this as like a
That's
dinner
enough.
party or something like this, and we're just having a chat?
These dogs
you
are
know,
bleeding me dry
I'll
of
say some
affection.
things which are probably going to offend you, and you know, and some things will go wrong. And yes, I will announce the wrong song, you know, and
Vampiric dogs.
halfway through, you know, turn to the right song, and you'll be totally confused. Not as confused as I am, but you know, that's and the audience will be on your side. I mean, just before I did the very first show, so I have to name drop here heavily. I had a phone call from Paul McCartney, and he wanted me to come in and work with him. And I said, yeah, but I think I wanted to go and do this show. Go and play with my band. But I have really bad stage fright, so
I tried
you
to
might be just saving me here by offering me, you
slowly
know, a project I can't
recowboying
say no to.
off.
And he said,
with
"Oh,
the
stage
petting
fright.
here.
I had terrible stage
And
fright."
Cole's just
you
looking
know?
at me like,
he didn't play
What
for 3
about me?
years or so, and then he did a show in Paris,
you too, man.
and
You too.
I don't know which song it was, but he was playing the bridge when he was supposed to play the second verse. But he knew that his band was going to be knowing that he was making a mistake, and they were going to go to the bridge when it was supposed to be the bridge as opposed to going to the chorus. But no, they went to the chorus. So he just went, stop, 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 stop. And the audience went wild, and they just loved it. And, you know, and afterwards, Cilla Black said to him, Paul, that was amazing. Do you do that every night? And he said, you know, that's the thing. You know, they're on your sides. So he really sort of helped me, you know, by going, they're on your side. Just talk to them, you know. Show your vulnerability. Show who you are. And I think that was the best advice I.
Ladies and gentlemen, punch your balls off and please welcome 9-Inch Nails.
living up to what I'm supposed to be? Why am I seething with this animosity? I think you owe me a great big apology. Tell the lies! No! Tell the lies! Tell the lies! I really don't know what you mean. Seems like salvation.
Oh, that's mud. It is Woodstock after all. Probably in the pit, getting crazy.
Don't turn away from me. I need someone to hold on to. Don't turn away from me. I need you to hold on to. Please don't tear it away from me. I need someone to hold on to. Don't tear it away from me. I need you to hold on to. Don't tear it away from me. Don't tear it away from me. I need you to hold on to. Don't tear it, please don't tear it, please don't fucking take it down. There's nothing left.
I remember getting Woodstock 94 on MTV pay-per-view. It was $100 to watch for 3 days. I mowed a lot of lawns to watch this. I was 14 years old. Dang. Fucking highway robbery with $100 for 3 days of like renting something. That's fucked up. I didn't even pay that much to be there. That's fuck MTV, man. Thank God the internet came in. Put an end to that shit. Now we get it for free. My dad took me to this festival when I was 7. I don't remember much except for it being really loud. My dad put earplugs in my ears and it was super flashing. 10 years later I'm drinking beers with Dad. At Christmas he told me he was tripping on shrooms while looking after me at Woodstock. What a champ. Shrimp. What a shrimp.
Doesn't it make you feel better? Doesn't it make you feel better? A big time for tonight. Oh, they can all sleep soundly. And all of you miserable muddy fuckers are alright. Echoing your voice just like the ringing in my ears. My favorite dreams of you still wash ashore. Scraping through my head till I don't wanna sleep anymore.
There you go.
I know it's still the same. Everywhere I look, you're all I see. Just a fading fucking reminder of who I used to be. Come on, tell me you make this all go away. You make this all go away. I'm down to just one thing. I'm starting to scare myself. You make this all go away. You make this all go away. I just want something. I just want something I can never have. I just want something I can never have. 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 And you never, never, never understand how I feel.
Oh, wait, down here, right? Yeah, money. Money, money.
You let me complicate you. I'm broke upon my insides. I've got no soul to sell. The only thing that works for me. Help me get away from myself. I wanna fuck you like it.
Do that again. That's how you do it again. That's good game.
Somebody else, I wanna fuck you like an animal. I wanna see you from the inside. I wanna fuck you like an
Always like that little hook in the song. I mean, it's cool to have a live drummer and like keyboard player. I guess at this point it was too much to do it all for one. I would have. maybe. Either way, it's cool that he's doing the whole band setup with the music, having a guy playing that part instead of having a sample, and instead of having a looped drum beat. Smoke weed like an animal. It's a bad idea to go down this way. Heroin. Down there, baby. Oh shit. Oh shit. That's a sample right there. But then again, that's an iconic part. Almost like mold.
Is that George? Let's clear out this steam so we can take a look.
Oh shit, did she die? No. Oh wait. Well, here we go. Oh shit. Well, let's go all the way. Fuck. She's ready. Oh, okay. So dudes, my bad, let me re-chat real quick. Oh, okay, there we go. Welcome Anthol, Midas, what's up? Just watched Mulholland Drive with my dad, drunk right now, hell yeah. That sounds awesome. I have seen Mulholland Drive a long time ago. And that's a very strange movie. In a cool way. I'd like to rewatch it just to piece it together. From the angle of, you know, the into Hollywood. Fucked up Hollywood stuff. Is there a mode for Skyrim where you get hungry, thirsty, like Fallout? Yeah. That would be an interesting run. Like, oh fuck, I'm running out of this and that. It's not just so. It wouldn't be so lackadaisical. That would be cool. Do well, if you could do like Archer run, and then do that, that would be a keynote right there. You also have the option to feel the cold, be damaged by the cold. Back from piss break. Ready to go. It's not run time indeed. Fallout survival mode. So Kino, we can only save game with a bed. Get thirsty, sick, hungry. It's killed. It's shot with no armor. Damn. That does sound awesome. Totally different game. In that case. Kind of keeps one away from like just going straight retard mode, as demonstrated by me. An actual frame to the game would be cool. Wouldn't be so hollow if I followed the structure, let alone a structure, like an alternative one, like a survival mode. Only for the anniversary edition, that little bundle came in with the deal I got. I think it was 2 years ago now. How long have I been playing Snodrum? Good 2 years. Just gotta wait for the next clearance deal. Damn, it's hard to fucking read this distance still. I don't want to be too close to the screen with it. Pee pee poo. We're listening to Nine Inch Nails live at Woodstock, 1994. From CCR and Jimi Hendrix to Limp Bizkit, Primus, and Nine Inch Nails. How the times change. To ride in a truck with an American chick with huge, bold tongues. That means breasts for those who are not in the know. A mullet on my head, America. One cholita on my filthy Mustang with loose what? With loose bullets and a gun in a glove box. We stop at a gas station to smoke a cigarette. Mustache bald head. I just want a Jolita with a bald head and a mustache. Man. Man, if she could have like no tits, that would be even better, I say. Damn. I would like a fine ass bitch that's bald, has a mustache, talks like a man, has no ass, has a penis. It's a fucking America. That reminds me of like a guy asking, kind of like an older Mexican gentleman. ¿Eres heterosexual? Asking him, are you a heterosexual? And the old guy says, no, you know, I'm Mexican, you know, I'm a real man. Because he thought it was like homosexual. Anything, he doesn't know the word hetero, probably. He just thinks something sexual is a homosexual. That was pretty funny. Like, are you heterosexual? Like, no, I'm a real Mexican. I'm a man. Pedífilo. Why can't I say it right now? Pedo. No, because pedo is being drunk. Which is a weird... Pedófilo. There we go. I don't know why... I was throwing in a TH in there. It's funny, yeah, pedophile, pedófilo. But pedo is getting drunk. Me puse bien pedo. It doesn't really sound good in text, you know, especially if another country's looking at it. He got real pedo. What? Real pedo. Bien pedo, wey. Me emborraché. different word because pedo is like a slang. Because pedo is also fart. There's a whole lot of things going on. You got farts, you got alcohol, you got pedophiles. The Mexicans like to keep everything under one roof, it seems. Or the Spanish, whoever came up with the word. Heisenberg Midas. Hey. Midas cooking man. That would be so cute. Looking like a Whiplash guy right now. Yeah. Drunk Goonie. Nothing like a little drunk Goonie to fill the soul with warmth. Ando bien pedo como el Epstein. That's a good one right there. As if they know about Epstein. Woman Melissa, yeah. Keep it simple. We keep it 5 ingredients, 50 different dishes. Which some of them, some of the variations, you know, they are different. It's a different dish. It's a different dish. It's a different hot sauce.
This is fucking weird. This is something new from us. This is from Natural Born Killers. This is called Burn.
Dropped my fucking controller this morning and messed up my left thumbstick. Damn. Yeah, I saw that. You put some WD-40 in that motherfucker. Hopefully it's working. Those aren't so complicated, but and they're meant to take damage, so yeah, just a little squirt in there. Ando bien pedo en el Little St. James. Nice. Ando bien pedo. Me emborraché. Emborraché sounds cooler. Borracho. Bien borracho. 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 I'm a shitty Mexican. I've never been able to do my R's, roll my R's. I gotta literally trill if I want to roll my R's, but if I have to say some R word in Spanish, I'm like fucked. Carro. I almost have to put like a TH in there. Carro. Borracho. Go to Mexico City, drive humping brap hogs in Mexico. That would be cool. Yeah, I could have my band members take me there. Check it out. I've never been. I do have family that have gone down there, stayed, or just to cruise around. Apparently it's like a big circle. You can just drive around the whole thing. A circle. Lynching, almost lynching. I'm going to Mexico City. SnotCon at Mexico City. That'd be a bit too unsafe. Crossing country lines, you know, that would be kind of annoying. Now you have to have a passport. Like you can't just. You used to be able to just go. You know, if you had your ID, birth certificate. And even way before that, before 9/11, you could just cross back and forth, no problem. Or, yeah, pretty much. And, but no, now you need a passport, you know, little card, or the pamphlet, or the book, if you want your little gay passport book. Instead of getting a card like a man. A barely evolved Coke bottle toothed wife. That's what I need. Need a fucking big fat brown Mexican woman that smells like mole. Big mole woman from Mexico City. I need Claudia. I need inflation, Claudia. Shine bomb. I need a. Well, what's the name for? Well, it is inflation, but there's one for like consuming. As opposed to like just air, right? Like consumption fetish. Claudia Scheinbaum. That would be so cool. Nikita. Covered in shit. Coated cellulite rolls covered in shit. Real Mexican. But no. If it were to be Mexican, it would be one of the small Mennonites. We have some Mennonite communities in Mexico. So probably Navajo from there, as opposed to some Pueblo chick. Mennonites smell bad. Wait, I guess they are all natural. But from what my mom told me, at least the community she had encountered, there's a lot of white-skinned folk with I think she said red hair. White-skinned communities. But really, I don't know much in terms of where to breed the best in Mexico. Where would the best breeding location be, Mr. Midas? You know, the least amount of dysgenics going around. I guess nowhere really. I guess it would depend on who you congregate with. What class of people you hang out with are able to be around. Your white pussy ain't worth the stink. White pussy ain't worth the stink. The girls have crooked teeth and no metal crowns. Best breed is ranch girls where the cartels are at. Ah, okay, that is true. Chick from a powerful, rich family or adjacent. Because they tend to marry, you know, if a Mexican guy has like money in some way, like, he's gonna go for a whiter chick, and he will be able to pull a whiter chick. That's how you get slightly whiter Mexicans, I guess. Because who doesn't want a light skin? Let's all be real. Who doesn't want to be light skinned? Let's be real. It's really cool. At least I can say. What's my other family too? My grandpa on my mom's side has some pretty immediate blonde, blue-eyed family and ancestors. And it seemed that he was like one of the first cross with the more indigenous Mexican in that family. But yeah, and then some more. I don't think there's as much white on the other side of the family, that side. But yeah. It's not really the background I come from, I guess, so it doesn't really line up. Or does it? Oh wait, I guess it kinda does. Damn, I fucking... Alright, I need to get closer here. I don't want to leading me. Fuck it if I'm fuck it if I'm super close. You can fix the fat by cutting short their fried tortilla and Coke diet. Yeah. Just gotta meme them into better diet or into wanting to be skinny. I suck stanky pussy fumes into my lungs, then goosh 2 gallons of snot lava at my dick. That's so cool. I wish I could do that. I suck stank pussy fumes into my lungs, then goosh 2 gallons of snot out of my dick. Like back in the day. Yeah, fat asses and bellies, they tuck they tuck into their jeans. Oh, I fucking hate that so much. Ranch girl I met that one time was like 5'9" with green eyes. Oh yeah, I remember you talking about that. Nice. I'm breeding female Mexican ranch hands that stink like cow manure and cheese. Actually based. GF has yellowish green eyes. Nice. Your grandma A10s. Dang. G6s. Writing these tips down as intel for when Trump makes us invade Mexico. Yeah. Keep that notebook handy. You know, it's talking about annexing fucking Greenland, like fucking annex Mexico. Unironically. That would be fucking awesome. Not just in taking like those resources, but also in in some kind of a effort to combat cartels and fucked up shit in that area. Corruption. Yeah, annex Mexico. Hashtag annex Mexico. But yeah, let's see where it goes. from 4 years. Are we gonna get a Empire version of something new? We're gonna go back into the cycle of politics. Gonna have a Biden 2.0 for 4 years, and then we get some cool Trump-esque thing after that. Who knows? Because there's been a lot of floating around of the idea of, of Trump going back into office and staying there. Which, based on fact or not, I think it's a good idea to kind of put out there into the ether. Though it would mean kind of a death in a way of America. It would be the birth of America. Symbolically. Coke bottle, toothed wife with rainbow grill, giant wart encrusted muffler that doesn't get wet. Just put your dog in. Like a pencil sharpener. Some nice rocky vagina. Some bouldery vagina. That's what I want. Go cross-eyed and get Jew Weasel cock on impact. Your IQ drops to 72. What? While stretch out into sugar glider wings and just fly off into the corona sun. Whoa. That's poetic. I can see the image before me, reading them words. Do you do any writing at all? Like a physical writing, like on a notebook? It'd be cool to have some of those down as like poems. Like, it would be some interesting quips to just have on a piece of paper. Like, here are my haikus. My extensive anthology and haiku collection.
You guys having a good time?
The Empire will be born at Trump's funeral with bands like Mark Anthony with Julius Caesar, showing wax figure of Trump filled with blood to enrage the masses.
Cool thing.
That actually happened. Yeah. With Kathy Griffin.
I've got mud in my fucking eyes.
And then they would
Unless I
go
get a chance to say the word
on to
fuck,
like
I'll
bitch and moan about Gen 6 and this and that.
fuck.
It's all gay. It's all gay. It's all gay.
Something we did for the crowd.
Everyone in Rome started building a giant fire in front of Caesar's corpse and throwing their jewelry. Then rushed to burn all their shit. Oh shit. Nine Inch Nails on the Post Nod stream. Chilling with the dudes on a Friday. This kind of sounds like a Joy Division. Might be a cover. Mark Anthony commissioned a wax figure of naked Caesar with stab wounds before the funeral. Wow. That guy's a prick. That was not nice. And he should be prosecuted. Oh, it is a Joy Division cover. Cool. Dead Souls. The funeral was supposed to be a peace deal between Brutus, the Democrat, and Mark Antony. He did it so the people would kill Brutus for stabbing Caesar. Whoa. So many details I did not know. Is there a CGI series on that part of history? That would be cool. We can get Boat Angel to do the last days of Caesar. Donkey Ollie style with some songs. Imagine Democrats and Republicans gather around Trump and Vance parades big fat ass with blood. What? No! For many days and nights, Donkey Ollie did not eat. He missed his friend, Caesar. I would not eat until he would see him. In my father's house. Keep calling Sneed. Oh no. Dang it. Oh, I don't have. Yeah, sapphire or something. Logs. Oh, nice. Oh, here we go. Nice. Alright, we good, we good. Yeah, I'll take the crown. Let's go. And thanks, Kathy. Oh, gotcha, no. My ghost pussy connect, no. Whoa. A lot. Oh shit, damn. Okay. That's a ball. The peerless sky. Oh shit, what the fuck? Caesar died today. March 15th. Oh, basically. Oh, that's interesting synchronicity right there. Gonna order a pepperoni supreme large pizza with crazy breadsticks from Little Sneezers first thing tomorrow. Ooh. Sounds delicious. Something to dream about. If only there were 24 hours. I used to live by a place that was like a smaller local pizza place that was open 24 hours. That was always nice to have. And fine pizza too. Nothing like super crazy good, but you know, some fine pizza that you could get whenever. Where's that cavern? Oh, that's a different area. If I remember correctly. Oh yeah, this area here again. Let's go west. Where are you? Ooh. That up there? think it is. Dang it. How'd I get over there? This area. Like on the other side of this or something. At least I'm kind of up on the mountain now. Alright. Level up. I feel like it's been a while since I've leveled up. It almost feels new. Fuck, no. No. Oh, okay. There we go. I didn't have to do anything weird or retarded. Just a nice path to my destination. You could say the road was the original GPS. Oh my god. You see? Got to get ready. Oh shit. Oh shit, ancient dragon. It's gonna be a bitch, huh? Just wanna fight down there. Does he? Huh? Sounds like there's a Death Lord around here. Oh shit. Oh, is he helping me? What the fuck? Oh no, he's not helping. mate. We did. Oof. Overlord. Overlord. I know that. From Planet Sheen. How about a humiliating defeat? You got an iron shield on you, dude? Come on. You're an overlord. Get some swag. Stamina, drain vitality. Nice. A cave. Oh shit. Come on, old man. You can hang with me. Anyways. Cave over here. Whoa. Is that everything over here? I think pretty much, yeah. Don't wanna go check everything. Alright, from over here. Pretty much nothing else. It's a trap. Oh. Well, where even was that? Oh, okay, that's where it was. It's alright, I just wanted to see. Get some of that Piz. P-I-double-Z. Hey. You know what I'm getting a weird hankering for? Xavier Renegade Angel. I think maybe sometime this weekend I'll hop on D Live and do a little bit of that. I know we've seen it already, but it's nice to rewatch because it's so dense, you know. And of course, it's an all-time classic that I enjoy watching over and over again.
Greetings, brother.
Oh, fuck off, man.
Sugar at a fair price, of course.
Skooma, you say? Moon sugar, sleeping tree sap. Health is increased by 100 points for 45 seconds. Or should only for 45 seconds? Oh, in that span, I guess. Of course, you'd be a fucking drug dealer, man. Get the fuck out of here. Hammer Shane. Hamer Simpson? What the fuck is that guy doing over there? Oh, it's a camp. Hamers. Merge. Well, I dug a cave, and now I'm ashamed of it. Lisa, just bury me here. This is my shame. What the fuck? What the fuck? Where'd you go? That's happened once before. Like I hit them, but like they go flying this way. I'm guessing maybe the hook design, like kind of like grabs them or something. I don't know. Of course it's a glitch, but I'm guessing the structure of the mace itself is like grabbing, and the force just kind of like flings it. Just eating some human. Huh? Ooh, damn, she's fucking. She got the yacht. Kinda looks like Janet Jackson. Or Michael Jackson. To the flames with you. Bitch. Humans prevail. Aw. She's cute looking though. Alright, let's be up here, I guess. Ooh. Goosh. Okay, nothing. No vampire pussy. No sweet vampire ass. If only Bethesda cared about their fans, they would put pussy in Skyrim. Hey, watch it. You're already fucking dead. I love that. It's so funny. I gotta kill them quick because they fucking suck your blood, you know? The antecedents of Dwemer law. Vampires learning the laws of the ancient technological race. No Dwemer book there. What do a long lost race of highly advanced technological builder beings have to do with the resurgence of vampires in Skyrim? Suck the blood out of your penis. It's so true. Like you'll start coming, and then the blood will start flowing right after. It just go like a tube of toothpaste just being drained by a big foot being stepped on. Fucking retarded. I am lay hungry. I think I am too. You know what, let me wrap up this cave here. Gonna go get something to eat. Then I kinda wanna fire up D-Live for a little bit of Xavier. Maybe like an hour and a half for a Friday night special. Okay, I want to get a snack as well. Let me kill all these vampires first, and then we'll get to that. Oh. Exit. Oh shit. Awesome. Oh shit, I forgot retarded. At least I have my level up here. Gonna need that unrelenting force. Oh shit, I just fucking swung him around, dang. You cannot. You little bitch, try to run away. Fucking pathetic vampire. This is where you needed to open. But you couldn't. Sacrificing people to this thing. Ugh. Where are the bodies of these people? Need to loot them. Yeah, it seemed the black guy, the Black Imperial, vaporized. Oh shit.
I've been hunting and fishing in these parts for years.
These parts for years. Oh shit, we got stuff around here. Orphan Rock. It's kind of a mean name for a rock, don't you think? Nothing. Nothing up there. I guess. Yeah, nothing. Twin Twinks. Snow, 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 sneezing. Eyes without a sneeze. Yes, nice catch. Kind of a lazy use of the sample, to be honest, but it's a cool sample nonetheless. Just gotta slow it down, put some reverb on it. But alright, thanks for chilling, dudes. I will be back in like 20 or so minutes for some D-Live. A little bit of a Xavier. Stay tuned. Just so we can hang out a bit more on this Friday evening, the day before Caesar's death, the night after the blood moon, which I did get to see last night. Well, I told you guys, of course, but I had it right outside my window. And though I did not catch it all the way dark because I had to sleep, it was still cool. Alright, peace out, Minus. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you, Anthol. Chemo. Thank you. I'll see you, my dudes, in a second. Peace.